You know us white guys with meth. Oh, wait, are we live? Whoops. Sorry, folks. Deal with it. A little bit of pre-show is what we're just talking. See, because you guys remember when I had that massive infection like 3 years ago on the show, and they had to take the tooth out? Well, they were going to put an implant in, and I just never got around to doing it. So they made this little mock-up tooth thing. See? Look at that. It's horrible. I feel like a redneck. I feel like I should be doing meth. And now look at it. Look how beautiful. See?
Aw, so pretty.
So
That's
pretty.
great.
I know.
Little things.
Pretty.
Whatever. I've always had horrible teeth. That's a long story. Folks, welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. It's pre-show. We're going to get the clock started. Damani is in the house. We're going live on Instagram. We're going to get this all notified on Facebook. If you guys want to help the show right now, live, I understand donations aren't everyone's not able to. What you can do is like, subscribe, follow, and comment. If you make a comment right now, just tell me where you're from. Tell me if you believe pineapple belongs on pizza.
It does.
Dude, no, it doesn't.
Yes,
no,
he's my
already
people.
we already asked that a long time ago. So anyway, whatever it is. So tonight, Damani Felder is obviously in the house. No, Leroy did not go on vacation in the last 24 hours and come back with a shit ton of melanin. Color is... You're so racist, Liv. Scott LoBaido Hospital update. We'll tell you what's going on there. Kanter declares for the WNBA. Is so good. Daily Wire is an amazing coming up with a movie, and then El targets Michigan. Be right back. It's Jacket Friday.
Do you want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up on the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's dad.
Folks, I've been interviewed hundreds of times over the last several years. Lockdowns, unconstitutional mandates, the garbage vaccine mandate, my run for governor. Most people still don't fully grasp what we're actually up against. Matthew gets it. He understands that America's next fight isn't some abstract culture war. It's a direct confrontation with the communists operating under the banner of the Democratic Socialists of America. He sees the threat clearly. He names it, and he refuses to soft pedal it. We must stand up against this hot garbage. No more pretending. No more polite silence. Tune in to my main man, Matthew, on the Don't Unfriend Me podcast. Get the accurate, up-to-date, unfiltered truth the mainstream media refuse to give to all of us. Then we, the people, must hammer down and fight back against the commies with everything that we've got. This is the fight. This is our moment. Listen, share, stand up, because we, the people, we're going to win this fight.
So stormy and angry. Folks, that's Damani Felder. If you don't know who he is, there he is. Now you know him. That's Damani Felder, the great friend of the show who actually showed up for once. Tyler Fisher was on last night. Damani's tonight. Hannah Pruder is coming up. She's going to be in studio. And then Lisa Regina will be here as well. Ben Morgan from Tonto Vodka and Amber Hilliker will be here from the Amber May Show. Folks, it is Jacket Friday. You have a chance to win a jacket. Every $500 we raise, you can win a beautiful Columbia Don't Unfriend Me jacket or the Red Friday jacket. Also coffee, blankets, all sorts of stuff. We'll explain it. $25, you get in it to win it. But right now, we've got my good friend Damani Felder. I don't know why I played that. Donations are up on the board. 1,000 is on the board. We've hit 3 consecutive 1,000 donation nights on this Friday for Jacket Friday, and it all begins now. But right now we have Damani Felder, my good friend. Damani, what's up, brother?
Matt, so good to be back, brother. Sorry I left you hanging a couple months. You know how crazy it is. And all the viewers out there, thank y'all for being patient with me. It's good to be back. There's so much to talk about. And honestly, it feels like it's you can't take a breath anymore without a million different things happening all at once. And if anyone knows how difficult it is to stay on top of it all, I know it's Matt and the rest of the fine folks up there. So doing the best that we can, but it's good to be here. I'm looking forward to the conversation tonight.
I didn't
Excuses.
I never gave it a second thought. Olivia won't shut up about it. I've been like, big deal. It's just, he's fine. Surprisingly enough, you helped me out a couple times. So one of the times it was for me because I believe we had to change the show and go do something with Ethan. So I take responsibility for that one. I only think you had one time where you had to spend time with your dad. So come on. That's
it's a very rare thing. So it's good to do.
Get your priorities squared away, folks. It is in it to win it. Jacket Friday. Pretty simple. I'm going to give you a little video overlay that we're going to put up here so you understand what's happening. But you can get a Don't Unfriend Me Sherpa blanket. You can get a 5-pound bag of our custom coffee, or you can get the beautiful, gorgeous, amazing jacket, the Don't Unfriend Me jacket, the Red Friday jacket, all right here. Pretty simple. This is what it looks like, $25. You enter to win. And from there, like I said, you get the blanket. You can get jacket, Red Friday jacket, the gray jacket, the collegiate jacket that Olivia designed. All of those are an option. If you've already won a jacket, you can't win a jacket again. But remember this, you are entered to the drawing for the end of the year. And that was a huge drawing that we did. We'll be doing that again at the end of the year. And this time the prizes are already accumulating, and it's going to be a massive one. So $25 single entry gets you in. Once again, there's people who want to give a lot. Those people always want to help out to do other entries for other people. We always need that. Real quick, Olivia wants to talk about something, and then we're going to get to the show.
Couple things. One, I actually will not physically be on the show tonight. Will be here in spirit and support because Hayden and I are having a girls' weekend, so I'm going to go pack.
Why is that, though?
Because Hayden and I need to get to know each other again.
Because Daddy put the foot down and said, you guys are going together, and either you do that or I'm going to put you in a burlap sack because I'm sick and tired of this competition. Ethan and I are right as rain. Hayden and I are right as rain. Olivia and I are right as rain, and those two kill each other all the time. So they're going on an all-exclusive weekend.
This is what you have to look forward to in about 13 years, Damani.
Yeah, it's coming. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, it will. So anyway, I will be here. So if you guys need entry into the drawing, I cannot monitor Facebook on my laptop. You need to message me directly. Otherwise, I will not see it since I will not be on the show. 2 is we need some prayers for a viewer. I'm keeping it anonymous as per request. But their 89-year-old grandmother was just diagnosed with breast cancer, for the 3rd time. She has been diagnosed and survived it twice. So this is number 3, but she's 89 at this point. So just everyone.
Just attach your prayers to the dumb show. God will figure it out. He's not.
Just pray for our viewers' grandmother. So hopefully she can get through it again this time. So
put our hands together for that for sure.
Yes.
All right. Well, Libby, thank you. Appreciate it. We've got some donations to put in immediately. So let's do it.
I'll put them in and then I will get out of your hair and you guys can start the show.
Damani, any recent videos from you, my friend? Because I wasn't able to peruse the internet much today. I was pretty busy. Have you put together anything in the last couple of days that we should be watching?
I try to put out at least one piece of original content every day throughout the week, at least. I know I have one that's scheduled to go live, I believe, in about 35 minutes or so. So
perfect. We'll debut
when
it
you
right
see
here.
it. Yeah, no, please do. I think it's actually a good one. A little bit of a mini history lesson and a little bit of a smackdown all at once. But you know how it is.
Yeah,
I feel like every time I open these social media platforms these days, I find a million different individuals with a million different crazy takes, and I have to almost pick and choose how do I allocate my time, because I want to be able to show up as a husband, as a father, and also take time for myself. Today's actually a rare day. I was able to actually take a little micro nap for half an hour shortly before the show, and that never happens. But it's just like, when you have a 2.5-year-old now who decides she doesn't want to sleep when she's supposed to sleep, and guess what? That's what you have to do. But I do my best to continue to create that content and also try to get a little bit deeper. I think a lot of people are ready more so now for action and solutions than just pure rage. So I think it is incumbent upon those of us who are blessed with the platforms that we have to steer people to the right information, because there's so much division, and it's a shame how much of a schism has developed on the right side of the aisle. Most recently, I know individuals are aware of what the Tucker Carlsons and the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world are doing, and how that makes them feel about the midterms, and it makes you always feel like you're on the back foot. And I intentionally choose whether or not to engage in those types of conversations, because I do feel that to some degree they are a little bit counterproductive. If all you're going to do is sit there and talk about, oh, well, who's the best version of MAGA, this or that, I'm not interested in that conversation. What I'm interested in is the fact that we've got what appears to be increasingly a more and more hostile takeover in places like Dearborn, Michigan. I'm looking at individuals who continue to try to flout our own immigration laws. I'm looking at individuals even in other parts of the world who are finding out the hard way that, guess what? You might think your life in America is so terrible. Guess what? It could be a lot worse in other parts of the world. They're experiencing that firsthand. So those are the stories and the videos I try to shed more light on, because I realize how culturally appropriate and important they are to address in the here and now, before that sort of cultural rot really does come to our shores. Because make no mistake, man, you and I both know it's far too close at this point.
Yeah. It's something we've been talking about quite a bit. The donations are going to just literally roll like crazy right now. Tammy De La Jose, $25 payday. Give someone a chance to win a jacket. Love mine. In it to win it. Thank you, Tammy. God bless you for donating and helping somebody else out. You said it best. This has happened multiple times throughout Europe. Okay, we got to do this. Bobby Richardson, $25. Why not? LOL. Thank you very much, Bobby. Let's hope. Bobby has put, she's playing the lotto with this. She's been doing this for a while. So she's like, okay, this is going to be the most expensive jacket of my life, but we're going to get there. Bobby is in it to win it. We've seen this over Europeans' history. We've seen this multiple times with Islam in North Africa, Arab countries moving into Europe, and we're seeing this happen again. Carrie Ripley, $27, in it to win it. Can't make the live, in it to win it. Hello to Damani. Very, very nice. Carrie put that in this morning, so she was thinking about you, Damani, this morning when she woke up. That's pretty cool. So anyway, my point is that we've been focused on this quite a bit. I've got a video that we're going to talk about tonight. We're obviously going to talk a little bit about Texas and what's going on there, because we're seeing Dearborn, Michigan part due in places in Texas, and it's obviously extremely concerning. First is a video that you and I talked about that's kind of Brian Moody, in it to win it with 26.25. Thank you, Brian. We're at 103.25. We will put up the thermometer here tonight in just a second after this video. But you were talking how you booked this video and about the Islamophobia chick. We put it up, and I want to show everybody. We'll go ahead and take a look at this, and then we'll do comments right after. Here it is.
People constantly comment on my posts saying, "You're so Islamophobic." Yes, I am, because this scares me. This actually terrifies me. This was Iran in the 1970s before Islam took over. This is Iran now. Want to do another one? This was Afghanistan before Islam took over. This is Afghanistan now. Lebanon, then now. Europe, then now. Michigan, then now. Yes, this actually does terrify me. And if it doesn't terrify you and you want to be so accepting, one day you're going to end up in a freaking hijab covered from head to toe because you just had to be tolerant. You had to be accepting. I'm sorry. I absolutely refuse to be accepting of this. For all those of you who claim to be so passionate about women's rights and feminism, how the hell is this feminist? How the hell is this good for women? This is pure evil. Why are there little children who are covered in burqas? Why? Because it's supposed to be, right, so the men don't get tempted. Pedophiles, perverts. That's what these men are if they're getting tempted by little children. And you know they're pedophiles and perverts because they're allowed in their religion to marry girls as young as 9 years old. So yeah, call me Islamophobic. I am. This terrifies me.
Pretty clear. Like it's hard to be, pretend that she's being circumspect. I mean, it's like putting it right out there, straightforward. People keep talking about fatigue with this kind of thing. Is there Islamic fatigue in this country? Have we reached that pinnacle point where people are saying, listen, we don't care about race. Islam is not a race. It's a religion, and it's a belief structure, and it's counterintuitive to Western civilization. And it's counterintuitive to kids and women and everything we believe here in this country. Have we reached that point where people are going to start speaking out and they don't care about the labels anymore?
Well, what's interesting is I feel like we're getting close. I actually made a post on X, of all places, late last night, talking about how there are literally hordes of leftist women who go out of their way anytime there's something to do with Trump. They will go out to the stores, spend good money on the Handmaid's Tale costumes, those outfits. And anyone who's not familiar with the Handmaid's Tale, it was a book, and it was about this dystopian future where the men control everything and the women aren't allowed to speak, and the women are abused routinely, have to just sit there and take it, right? So leftists
my house
will do that. You can calm down. So leftists will dress up and cosplay this and say, oh, this is what we're fighting against because Trump wants to make this happen to us. But then they're literally advocating for individuals in places like Michigan and many other places. They want to elect these individuals to high office. And these individuals come from countries and still have allegiance to countries, doctrines, and dogmas that would put those same women in the strongest, tightest ideological chains ever, but they can't see it because they've been blinded by this false specter of, tolerance. I want to be tolerant. You can tolerate a lot, but I also do believe to a certain degree that you do deserve what you tolerate. So some of these leftist people out there, at one point or another, they are going to reap what they've sown with this, and it's going to be a very rude awakening. But it's the only thing that is going to get through these people is when they realize what they've done to themselves. They've essentially sold America out under that false song of inclusivity and tolerance and love. Because let's be honest, we all know that the average leftist harbors far more naked, raw hatred towards anyone who disagrees with them than anybody else. But they'll find out real quick, especially those loudmouth, leftist, liberal white women in many cases. They would be the first ones to be subjugated. And then they'd sit there and wonder how they got into this mess when they themselves are the greatest obstacles to their own progress of society as a whole and how society can move forward. So until they realize it the hard way, that is going to be what it takes for them. Because I'll say this, Matt. What's really interesting is you will hear so many of these people, they'll say the lines and they'll have the little sound bites and this and that, right? But watch what happens when they are walking the streets at night and something unfortunate happens to them. Watch what happens when they unfortunately get assaulted by someone who has come to this country who still is acting as if they are in the country from whence they fled. And I use those air quotes very intentionally. Immediately they will change their tune, but it's until something happens to them. Here in Houston, Texas, we had the tragic story of Jocelyn Nungare, right? And there are people who will sit there and try to pretend that didn't happen. But guess what? Jocelyn Nungare didn't have to happen, but she did. Her tragic story did happen. It's going to keep happening to more and more individuals. And the hope is that it doesn't happen in the first place, but they have to realize the cause and effect that takes place when they continue to sign on to these policies that ultimately are self-defeating, and when they hide behind the banner of inclusivity and tolerance to their own detriment. So I could wax loquacious about that all day, every day, but it's one of those things that you just have to confront head on and confront with increasing strength. Because, as I see my daughter get older, the last thing I want for her is to be subjugated under what they are trying to bring to America, which would be Sharia law, which would be the antithesis of everything that it means to even have any sort of rights as a woman to begin with. So I'm not going to sit here and just take it. I'm going to continue to speak out about it. Everyone else should as well.
So when we see, we're going to get a couple of these in here. Debbie Boggs, $25 in it to win it. Thank you, Debbie. Folks, it is Jacket Friday. You can see the jacket right over there. You can enter to win. If we hit $500, we give one jacket away. We hit 1,000, we give two jackets away, and then we'll give 2 bags of coffee away if we hit that 500. or that 1,000, and then you have an opportunity every 500 to win another jacket. Lois Bentley, $25 in it to win it as well.
And just remember, if you've already won a jacket, a blanket, a 5-pound of coffee, you cannot win the monthly drawing again. But you are still entered into the end of the year.
Yeah, it gives you an entry into the end of the year, and then at the end of the year, we'll open up a giant. I think it's no max. There's no limit. People, you can get $500 and get as many entries as that would be for 2,500. Angela Hill's donating $25 in it to win it. All right, are we caught up?
No, but I'll just keep putting them in.
So let me ask you a question, Damani. When we take a look at Candace, take a look at Tucker, take a look at the Hodge twins. I never thought I would see the twins literally just peddling for Islam. And Courtney Dedew says, one for me, one for my daughter Kirsten, and an extra for someone who needs it. You're amazing, Courtney. Thank you so much. 7774. Dude, you know some of these people. You've, rubbed shoulders with some of these people. How does this, on a personal level, on a granular level, how does it make you feel to see people do this? Because let's face it, there's two components to this in this concoction that's brewing. And one is that there is a lot of money being provided by Arab countries into these influencers. Anonymous, $50. Hello, fellows. One from Lincoln Dog and one for an extra person. Thank you, Anonymous. We love you. And the second part of this is this. I'm not going to sit here and say it's anti-Semitism because I believe that's used too much, but there is a very palpable loathing towards Israel and Jews. And they hide in the mask of being, anti-Zionists. And before that, it was, well, we just don't like the government. Well, it's getting more and more bold and brazen. Robert Marlar donated $27. Thank you, Robert. Damani, so how does it make you feel? And two, are you in agreement that this has a lot to do with money and it has a lot to do with the way people feel about Judaism inside the United States of America? I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, unfortunately. And what's more disquieting is that I had a bad feeling about a lot of some of the large scale influencers, if you will, on the right side of the aisle for a long time, having a chance to interact with them in person, and even seeing some of their various deeds and misdeeds over the years. I know the Hodge twins particularly, I think it was less than even a year ago, they were caught adjusting their messaging depending on which platform they were on. That's a known thing at this point. And the thing is, if you can't be trusted to be authentic 100% of the time, regardless of where you are, then that's probably someone in the background pulling the strings. I believe they did admit that there's an individual who's running their page and whatnot.
Yeah,
and,
Facebook.
They do this. They put this here. They put that there. It's not us, right? But even further than that, even back in 2018, 2019, when I was interfacing with a good number of these influencers now, you begin to understand that almost everyone has a price, right? And I think what is becoming rare is individuals like yourself and myself and many others who do not come with the price tag. There could be lobbies from foreign countries who could come and approach me. Let's say if you're in Qatar or United Arab Emirates, and they could say, hey, we're going to give you $50,000 to say good things about us. I've never been to your country. Why would I do that? I am a strong, firm believer in America first for Americans first. So I'm going to do things that are in the best interest of America. But it's not surprising because, to be honest, it's not even about the money 100% of the time. It's about these figures, many of whom only rose to prominence because of their erstwhile allegiance to Trump. Then they began to realize, okay, well, this Trump era is ending, and I tied my whole identity to that. So now I'm going to have to figure out which subset within the right side of the aisle am I going to cater to. So it's a rift that is developing, but honestly, it's probably a good rift that should be developing and continuing on, because this is what's going to help individuals understand who really is on their side or was on their side or not. I made a video several years ago talking about the biggest indicator of who is in this for the right reasons are those who continue to speak out as they had in the past, the same way long into the future. And I think people can see that now for themselves, because I'm not one to sit here and just say, oh, you shouldn't like this person, shouldn't like that person. But discernment ultimately is your friend.
Right.
If you're someone who has followed individuals for years and they start sounding a little bit different, then the first question should be why. Second question should be, will this continue? And third question should be, how much am I going to participate in this? Because what's going on is not just on social media, it's also psychological. You know, I've seen some posts and whatnot from figures I used to respect, and it seems as if their only goal now is to wrest attention away for themselves. It's no secret that social media is all about attention. A lot of it is about emotion-based attention and not about logic-based attention. So the extent to which they're able to weaponize and manipulate you that way literally dictates what they're able to earn and how they're able to continue to sow this discord in the future. So that's why a lot of the times you'll see, if you've been watching, you know, Matt's page or my page, you'll see there's almost like a script that almost plays out over time for some of the larger figures, and they'll all seize on one thing and all seize on something else. And the hope really, and the proof positive that we're doing something different, is that we're not always talking about the exact same things that every other huge big influencer is talking about. That's actually a good thing, because that raises awareness to things that should matter, things that should be important. It doesn't get you in this constant feedback loop of doom and gloom that ultimately is just going to seed ground back to the left. Because make no mistake, they love the fact that there's individuals on our side who are sowing this discord now, because they are laser focused on the midterms. Even in places like here in Texas, they've got James Tallarico, of all people. This should be a shoe-in, but why is it not? It's because, oh, we have just enough people on this side saying this thing and that thing about Ken Paxton and this and that. I'm sorry, have we lost the plot? Yeah. We should understand now more than ever before, most recently, what the left is willing to do. The left wants America to look like Spain looked most recently in the island of Situ, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Or the area of Situ, I should say. Individuals, just hordes of individuals coming in. And we have to remember what that looked like and how that felt. Because that's not going to stop just because, oh, so-and-so believes Candace Owens over official court documents. Who cares about all that at this point? We have to stay focused on what's most important and stop letting these large-scale influencers, in many cases, lead us by the nose, ultimately to our own demise.
See, the thing about this is like this has happened before. This isn't the problem is when you water down history and you start having your subjective feelings about history and portray them as truth or fact. Got to do this a little bit. Jeff Oliphant, having you on Jacket Friday is not a good thing. Jeff Oliphant donated $24. You know why? Because all I want to do is talk to you. I got to read these off. Thank you, Jeff, so much. We appreciate it. I know there's going to be a couple more coming in, so I'll fragment my stuff. You're the focus right now. But when we look at, you take a look at McCarthyism and you look at what happened there with the threat of, the Red Storm rising and Russia coming into our media, into Hollywood, Ronald Reagan's fight against it, Montgomery Clift's fight against it, going against the Writers Guild. And a lot of these people having, been in the liberal arts move into the colleges and they start infiltrating the colleges, which pushes into the hippie movement, pushes into the labor unions. Brenda Shepard donated $25. My daughter has been sober for 4 weeks straight now. So proud of her. Congratulations. Awesome. It's a great feeling, Brenda. That's awesome. So we've seen this push before. We've seen this resistance and fight against it. We saw this with the nihilists. You saw this during the Crusades. You saw this so many times in history. But the problem is now is that there was a very large front of people who had a level of education that probably would have been described as street smarts that they don't possess now. And there was really two types of people. There were the Edith Bunkers and Richard Nixons of the world, not too bright, but wise as hell. And then you had the revolutionary type thinkers, the people who were book read and collegiate worthy and had academia. They carried those degrees, they carried those doctorates, and they spoke of something that was outside of politics or emotions and feelings. To me, it seems now that we have very educated idiots who don't have the common sense and know how to practically apply intelligence, which is the definition of wisdom. This is a generational problem that we're fighting, but this is a decade fight. This is a 5 to 10 year fight on our hands before we literally hand over the keys in Europe, and then the next target is North America. Can we make enough change? Can we inspire enough people? No one's filling the void of Charlie Kirk and igniting the youth of America to be focused on the things that are most important. Do you see a way out of this? And if so, what is it? Besides you and I beating our head against the wall and trying to get people to open up their eyes.
I wish I knew. I really wish I knew. I really wish there was a figure that has emerged, because the sad reality is we are here now almost exactly 11 months after Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Yep.
And we have had to walk through fire excruciatingly, almost feels like blindfolded, because now the biggest issue is, oh, well, do I believe this? Do I believe that? And honestly, say what you will about this, I firmly believe this is a metastasization of the last vestiges of that Q-ish movement, if you will, or individuals like, oh, I think I know something.
Yes, malignant as shit. Sorry.
Yep. No, so it's just like, I'm going to question this a little bit too much. And that's really where it comes from, because it's born out of a place of inherently good things, because you should question everything. But when you are simply asking questions to create that through line of doubt, you don't have to prove anything. You just have to say, oh, well, this doesn't quite line up the way I like it, so I'm going to hyperfixate on this. And guess what that does? All that does is erode any sort of hope for the future, because we're sitting here playing armchair quarterback for something that happened 11 months ago, and no one has been able to step up and fill that void. So then what happens? You have individuals who are, I'm pro Candace, I'm pro this. I'm like, do we even hear ourselves anymore? I don't care about Candace Owens anymore. I don't care what, the Hodge twins have to say. I care about what I think, about what has been told, and about the truth that will ultimately follow. And I care about the individuals who are in those positions, who are able to actually share the actual facts. And then it's up to me to decide if I'm going to believe them or maintain that seed of doubt forever. Because that seed of doubt is good, but it ultimately can turn poisonous if you use that as the baseline or the framework for everything. Because you can sit there and question everything until the cows come home. So it's very unfortunate that we're sitting here still now waiting for that next figure to emerge. And I'm not sure what that future looks like. If it's not on social media, let me just say this. Social media is one fight, but the fight in real life is another. And it's both metaphorical and literal. So it requires enough bold individuals being willing to engage those who disagree with them in real life. Because we all know we are being driven more and more to have this herd mentality where you just log on to social media and identify with your clan immediately and just, everyone who I follow agrees with me. And that could make you feel good. But when you go out in the real world, what's crazy is, when you go out, you'll realize that your neighbors, they might be a little crazy here and there in some cases, but they aren't the existential threats that individuals might have you believe they are. But you will only know that if you actually take the time to go out and put your phone screen down and actually engage with them in conversation. And it's not hard, but it requires an ideological shift where you are no longer just simply tethered to your own political druthers, but you're willing to engage with other individuals respectfully and politely, but also firmly, coming from a foundation of truth. And that has to be the way forward for us. You almost have to become a million mini Charlie Kirks, because we all can't rise to that level. But it requires that level of bold engagement with the other side, or even though it's still in the middle. Because make no mistake, there are still individuals in the middle. And they're tired of this black and white life that we have to live, where it's, you're either a Trump this, or you're a crazy radical leftist. There's a lot of people out there who feel like they've been ostracized by either side. And I would argue there's far more people on the right side of the aisle who are willing to engage those types in real productive, constructive dialogue, asking the right questions, than there are on the left. And that should be all the answer many people need. We have to start doing that ourselves and spending less time trying to figure out what X influencer or Y influencer has to say before we go out and do it ourselves.
We're no longer focused on policy. We're no longer focused on communal tribal association. It's tribal thought. And it's the primitive nature of tribes is what led to their demise. But the communal thought of tribal structure is needed in this country more than ever. And there was a belief at some point, like when you were growing up, black families that I was friends with, and I had many, the matriarch and the patriarch inside those families was extremely strong. Father worked tirelessly. Mother worked on raising kids. There was a level of theological displacement in that home that the moment you walked in, there was respect, and respect at the table, respect by putting your hands together and praying during dinner. And those things have eroded due to the left's impact on the major cities and replacing those tribal rules and processes with government dependence, fatherless homes, this almost dependence on government before anyone even is out of the womb. Marie donated. This is for someone that might need it. God bless you. Thank you, Marie. So here's my challenge on this, and it's certainly not challenging you because I agree with you. I don't believe you should question everything. And I'm really against the saying, because there was a time where we should tell people you need to question everything, because we're not questioning enough at all. And we'll let you know when we need to pull the reins back. The reins need to be pulled because we have questioned so much that the myopic has overtaken the granular nature that we intended, which was to really get down to the intricacies of what we were consuming and what we were processing and either accepting it or rejecting it. Now it's, you said something and I don't like your political disposition, so no matter what you say, I will not listen to it. I will not trust you. I will push back against you, not because of what you're saying, but how you are saying it because of what you believe, what your ideology is. The way I look at things and the way Leroy looks at things, and I think the way you do also, is to help people understand is, instead of questioning everything, is when you get a piece of information presented to you, whether it be a video or a meme or someone sends you an email or it's a conversation, try to disprove one facet of what you're being told. And instead of accepting and consuming all of it, try to remove a little piece of it and just disprove something. And once you do that, you then have a right to question it and then do it again and again. And then eventually you know that that person's not a trusted source. But Damani, what we do, brother, is that we go, I've been listening to Candace for 5 years, and you have hundreds of those signs saying that she's lying to you, and you will not admit you're wrong because your own personal embarrassment is more important than being right. Mm-hmm. This isn't just a Tucker issue. It's not just a Candace issue. It's a self-awareness issue. And people have been this melodic laze of just getting themselves into this zombie-like state of hanging up on me. He'll come back. So the thing that we have to ask ourselves is, what is it going to take? And honestly, Damani said it best. It's the individual. It's that one, it's going to be a million Charlie Kirks, not one. And I think that's such an important fact. Hey, Livy, go ahead and push these through while Damani's reconnecting. So, such a good conversation. There he's back. So, my final thought on that was, you're absolutely right. We need a million Charlie Kirks, and they're you. You guys don't have to be Nobel laureates. You don't have to be scholars. You don't have to be Mensa. What you have to be is pragmatic. You have to be passionate, and you have to use logic. Mel Lowe donated $51.99. Hi, Damani, one extra. Brian Ellis says, trying to disprove of it is a form of questioning, isn't it? Yes, but you're not questioning everything. There's things that you will see on the surface level that once you become good and strong and it becomes a second nature and almost a muscle reaction to be able to say, okay, there's no way that that's real. I don't need to dive into this anymore. So for instance, the exploding lapel mic. Is there anyone here who really took that seriously and said, I'm going to investigate this because this has to be the solution? It was a trap door. It was a bee cult. It was Egyptian airplanes. No, after some time, you recognize the symptoms of idiocy And you simply can wipe it away without doing deep dives, because that's where we get in trouble, is when we focus on too much and we miss the things that are truly important. I want to get your thoughts on that. I'm just going to say this. Suzanne McGoran donated $25. In it to win it. Thank you so much. God bless. Folks, we are $16 away from hitting our first jacket. Damani, your thoughts on that? We'll wrap it up and move on to the next video. Deep conversation, but a good one.
Yeah, it's just ultimately an attention economy. And if the insidious underbelly of social media has just become a space where individuals are able to find one stray flyaway, if you will, right? And they will fixate so much on that, they forget what they were actually focusing on in the first place. And all they need is one little thing, like one loose thread. And they're like, oh, I just have to hyperfixate on this, right? And all that does is keep you distracted and keep you seeing missing the forest for the trees. So it's very difficult to engage in real productive dialogue with someone who is less concerned about listening and understanding and more concerned about trying to poke holes in your argument. Because I'll tell you right now, one job is very much easier than the other.
Yes.
It's really easy to sit here and say, oh, Matt, you said that the shirt you're wearing tonight is black and the hat you're wearing is gray. But you know what? There's a little bit of beige in your cap, too. So you know what? I think you're a liar, and therefore I can't trust anything you say.
Yeah.
It's much easier to say that than to actually look at things for what they are. But because it's an attention-based economy, anyone who is able to plant that seed is able to suck the oxygen out of the room, because that's all people seem to want to do anymore, is poke holes, because poking holes is easier than actually thinking critically. So that's the inflection point that we're at socially, and I really hope that we can get past that sooner rather than later, because we've wasted so much time.
Yeah,
and we very
So
well
true.
may reap the benefits or the consequences of that here in the next couple of months when the midterms roll around, because people can sit there and talk and poke holes and question all day, but ultimately the left is not going to stop. They have not stopped the last 20 years. They're not going to stop just because we're sitting here playing tiddlywinks with each other. So you got to get it together. You got to get together fast.
I'm waiting till we start seeing conservatives riot. And because that's where we're getting to. And this is how the left started, and they became more and more radical. And we're just seeing, I'm seeing the same symptoms and the same cause taking place in this party. And there's a fracture in this party. And I can only hope that the Christian conservatives that are growing, this massive movement, this reawakening that Charlie started, takes over before we abandon logic and reason for emotion and a level of disconnect that resembles what social media is. I mean, God, these people never played outside. These people didn't go to the playground. They didn't build the communal relationships that gives you a temperament and gives you some passivity towards other people's opinions, whether they're right or wrong. Libra and I had a great conversation last night. Two things, and we went back and forth on the political horseshoe and the fishhook theory and all this. And, you know, we went for an hour, and we didn't get it heated, but we disagreed fervently, and we're friends afterwards. And the second thing is we went to Front Royal. I don't know if you got to see that video, Front Royal, Virginia, where they were cheating in the RNC chairman position. We talked about this about 9 months ago, and we've been fighting this and doing videos on this and trying to bring attention with Breitbart, and they've been involved with it, and he won. And I'm sitting here going, this is why I built the platform, is we want to make local change. And that's where this needs to take place. So I think that's the answer, right? Is the local communities, the townships, the municipalities, the cities, the town halls is where we're going to make the most monumental change that ultimately will become a catalyst for state and federal level change, I would hope. Deirdre Daly donated $50. Happy Friday, dummies. Thank you, folks. That's it. First jacket is in. Remember, you guys can win a second jacket. We hit 1,000. We're already going to go ahead and take care of that. Let's keep pushing and keep going. Love that Damani is here. I'm waiting for your video to pop up. Damani, tell everyone where they can find you and how they follow you, please, my brother.
Most platforms are just going to be at the Damani Felder, or just my first and last name, first, middle, and last name, Damani Bryant Felder. That's where I'm at. And it's different videos sometimes on different platforms. But like I mentioned in the very beginning, it's just I'm trying to meet people where they're at. but also engage people who are ready to listen instead of individuals who are just so cynical and so stuck in their silo that all they want is a confirmation and a confirmation of their own biases. So you can find me there at Damani Bryant Felder or at the Damani Felder. I think that video should be up by now. I thought I scheduled it, or in the next 10 minutes or so, it'll be up.
Is it going to be on Facebook? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
It'll be Facebook.
I'm on your
it's also
page.
on Instagram.
I'm on your page right now, folks. You can actually find him on Facebook. That's going out to all of our channels. Remind me to tell you about how when I turned off Facebook advertising, I didn't do it. They did it for me. They took away my advertising privileges, how my engagement literally quadrupled.
Huh. Really?
Dude, so weird. Like when you see my inside numbers, you're not going to believe it. It was like literally flatlined and then hockey stick. And it's not videos. It's everything. Everything's on fire. Wow. It doesn't matter what I put up. Comparable to what I usually do. This looked like, a heart attack. And then now all of a sudden it's like an 18-year-old running a marathon. So it's interesting. I don't know what's going on, but either way, let's do this video real quick. This is a Democrat apology. I love these videos, and it's almost like sometimes you wonder if they're real or not, but this one has a really good message to it and feeling that I kind of buy into this. You tell me what you think. Here it is. I'm watching for your video, by the way. We're gonna play it as soon as it comes up.
America, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I take full responsibility. I am partly responsible for what's happening in America, for what's happening in Dearborn, Michigan, for what's happening in New York City. We left Iran. We left Islamic Republic for exactly this reason, because radical terrorist Muslims took over the country and are literally killing, raping, torturing, and executing innocent people right now as we speak for the past 47 years. And I thought by voting Democrat, liberals, every single year, every single time there was an election, that meant we are going to make America, keep America great. We're going to definitely not negotiate with terrorism. That's exactly what the left media made me believe. And I'm here to say I apologize. I was brainwashed this whole time. It took me over 20 years to realize that Democrats and liberals are the reason this country is the way it is. They're the ones that are okay with the American flag being burned in New York City, that the American flag is okay to be burned. It's part of democracy. It's the most anti-American thing to do. And wishing death upon America is the most anti-American thing you can do. It has nothing to do with democracy. And I'm here to apologize and let my husband know that he was right. He was rara. Gotta let my husband know that he was rara. I don't know why it's so hard to say this. I am here to announce that my husband was rara. It's very painful. I'm here to announce that my husband was right. Oh, that took everything I had. That he was right about everything. That Republicans are the ones that are gonna help make America great again. I also believed that make America great again meant make America white again. That's because the left media wanted me to believe that. I am here to announce I'm sorry. And I will be part of the group that will make America great again. And I will proudly vote Republican from now on. God bless. And again, I apologize for everything I've done.
A little bit of humor with a whole lot of serious is not a bad thing. You said it. It's so funny how you and I, we pick a lot of the same videos, but we also have a lot of the same takes. Today, if you watch the video that I did of the woman declaring about Arabs, the one I showed just a second ago, the Islamophobe chick is what I'm calling her. At the end of it, I said, white liberal women are going to vote women out of existence.
Yeah.
It's very similar to what you just said. It's just funny. Your thoughts on a video like that, and for a person who is an Uncle Tom for not being a Democrat, right? Because I see all the time and I hear it is that you're a traitor to your race because you're not a Democrat and you're black. Your thoughts on this woman making the connection and the authenticity of it, at least from her perspective.
It's refreshing to hear. The hope is that there are more people like her who do wake up and realize the error of their ways while there is still time, because the future that we are hurtling towards at breakneck speed would be one in which even individuals who finally do realize they are wrong would no longer have an arena in which to speak out and make that admission and then work to try to right those wrongs, right? So it's very encouraging. And I think a lot more people actually feel that way than they might want to admit. But kind of to your point that you were talking about earlier a few minutes ago, it's like there's so much pride that's involved in this now. There's individuals who are incapable of admitting publicly that they are wrong, even though privately, many individuals, if you just engage them in honest, good conversation in good faith, many of them would tell you, yeah, I don't want to feel less safe in my own neighborhood or in my own city. And these are common sense things because the left is anathema to common sense.
Yes.
That what the left has become, that is. So I'm grateful every time I see a video like that there are still people who are willing to allow their minds to be changed. And not just that, the biggest step you can take is to make a video or something like that and put it out there, because a lot of other people, you're essentially speaking for them at that point. It's something we need to see a lot more of and need to see a lot more of rapidly.
Yeah. It's a really interesting point. You've been in green rooms before. I've been in green rooms before on shows, and you've got people who are like, Damani, Matt, how are you? How are things? And you're like, great, man. How's it? Oh, it's been so long since I've talked to you. How's the wife? How's the kids? And you're like, great, wonderful. And then all of a sudden that green room, you go into live on a show, and those people become toxic and vapid, and you're just like, what the hell happened? I think a lot of these people, when the demons come, they don't like themselves very much. And I think they are performing. And I think it's very similar to what celebrities go through, is celebrities crave their anonymity, not because it bothers them that the paparazzi's out there, not because people want autographs. I think people realize that their entire lives are on stage and they don't have a chance to be authentic, or they don't have a chance to be genuine because they're always on stage performing. And that's the one thing I love about you, is the person who you are on camera is the exact same person you are off camera. And I would like to think I hold myself the same way. Let's never lose that, because I think that's where Candace and Tucker and the twins and other people have lost it. I wanted to segue into one thing real quick, and then if you want to circle back, that's fine. You take a look at what they said about Nick Fuentes, and I've battled the Groypers. I've kicked more Groyper ass than just about anybody. Andrew Wilson likes to think that he did, but I took on Beardson, the number 2 Groyper in the whole, Nick Fuentes army, and just rocked his world, and he's never come back because I wouldn't allow him to play his games. I just wasn't going to take the bait. But they say Nick Fuentes is a racist and a Nazi and a Jew hater, and he very well may be all of those things. The gay Mexican midget, he may be all those things. But they're like, Republicans need to denounce him and disassociate with himself because he is the far right fascist Nazi, and if you're a Republican and conservative, you can't possibly platform him. You can't possibly. And I whatever. Yes, no, or indifferent. I don't care. But the interesting thing is Hassan Piker is the exact opposite, the antithetical nature of Nick Fuentes and how he is to conservatism is exactly what Hassan Piker is to classic liberalism. They are diametrically opposed in their viewpoints, but almost identical on the political horseshoe because fascism and socialism are so akin to each other. And Hassan Piker, I want to get your take on this guy because I know you knew him I knew him when he was playing video games and was a Twitch guy and didn't do well in that. And then started, literally just berating his audience and gaslighting his audience. And now he is a prominent figure and what I would consider to be, although not the same quality, or an effigy of a pimple on Charlie Kirk's ass. But he is the Charlie Kirk now for the left. And that is not only hypocritical, but scares the living shit out of me. Your thoughts on him and some of the things he's been saying, and am I on point or am I off point? Let me know.
Well, I think you're right, because it ties into the point you're making about people playing a character. What's very odd to see, especially when you're in this space like you and I have been for a long time, is you begin to see those telltale signs a little bit earlier on than individuals who might not be so well equipped to understand what's going on. And that's because if you look on the right, for example, right, there were several huge figures. One that comes to mind is there was Ashley St. Clair.
Yes.
And
Oh,
she
yeah.
kind of rose out of nowhere, but it's because it was a formula. You need to be conventionally attractive, say the right things, post the right pictures, hold up the right signs, and then guess what? Individuals will flock to you, right? And we're seeing the rotten fruit that has been born from that caricature that was intentionally deployed. So
And
on the left side,
boning Elon Musk probably helps when he owns the platform.
just a little bit. That's kind of helpful to know. Yep.
Yes.
But there's a formula for individuals on the left side of the aisle. It's much the same. It's you essentially get into that character format where you know exactly what to say. You do not deviate from it. And part of that, honestly, crosses party lines because there are those on the right who know there are certain things that if you want to be a big time influencer, you can't say, otherwise you're not invited to the fancy parties and galas and whatnot. And honestly, who cares about that? I used to be so upset that I was never good enough to be invited to these parties. And I realized I was probably being spared from whatever blackmailing goes on in there. So thank God for that. But there's a lot of people who understand how much of a business some of this is and who are just going to do exactly what it takes to make a name for themselves, regardless of their own personal convictions. And what's worse is, in some cases, then they will renege on what they purported to support the minute that it suits them to go to the other side. So you ultimately see how it becomes that phrase, what is it? It's one big club and you ain't in it, right?
Yeah,
and it's just like, okay, we'll go back and forth and we'll play patty cakes with the left whenever it suits us. And I never forget, there was an event years ago in New York City. I think it was maybe 2-3 years ago. And it was individuals like Ashley St. Clair and then Harry Sisson and I believe it was Angela Belcamino. They're all hanging out in a Cybertruck. I'm like, what are you doing here? Is this just a performance?
Dean Withers was there.
Yep. Should have been a point of awareness for many people. It's like, oh, maybe they are on the same team and they just don't want us to put the pieces together.
Correct.
So, and that's why you'll never catch people like me and Matt maybe necessarily at, these massive galas, but it's not the goal. The point is not to be invited to a gala and take pictures and have selfies with the president, even though that would be fun and nice. It doesn't do anything for our movement, for our cause. And I would argue we are much more effective. Me here, in the Houston, Texas area, and you, Matt, where you are, doing what we're doing and having this almost like fireside chat conversation with everyone out there who's watching than we ever could be just by running around some fancy glitzy gala, taking pictures and having the time of our lives, because one is more effective than the other.
Yeah, we got invited to, I really haven't talked about this with you yet, and I was going to talk about this with you first, but we got invited to the White House. And my first thought is, that's great and will be fun and awesome. But I also have to ask myself the question, why? And I think it's so important for us to ask the question, why? It's not to be the first time that we've been invited to go do something that's cool. And so it's something I'm going to talk about in private with you first, because I think it's something that you and I should do together. Thomas Austin, $30. It'll be cold this winter. Need a jacket. Have fun, folks. All right, Tommy, we got your back. He's in it to win it. I know we've got more of these coming. But the reason why is first of all, I know that if I have a black person with me, that whatever goes wrong, I can just blame on you. That's the first one.
I knew something was coming. I knew
it.
But
you and I both know that we've kind of made promises to each other just out of friendship, knowing that if one of us get there, Darby Carlton donated $50. Great show, guys. Looking good. Thank you, Darby. That we've talked about kind of doing it together and what that looks like. But my point is that you're right. It's not the goal. My goal isn't to have a picture with President Trump. My goal isn't to speak at an RNC event or go to TPUSA. All of those things would be wonderful. My goal is to consistently hold myself to a standard that consideration will never be removed from me. Right. So like, I want people to base me on my merit, not my hat, not my shirt, not tattoos or whatever, but say this person's voice is important because they tell the truth and they hold themselves to a higher standard. They have a modicum of decency in a place in a world that isn't very decent, especially in the online world. Food for thought. We'll talk more. There's a video I want you to see. This is from Daily Wire. I don't know if you had a chance to see this. I think it's Run, Hide, Fight. Daily Wire did a movie about a school shooting. Well, they have a new one coming out, and it's about a Delta Force commando who if you watched Fallout, he was excellent. He was the person in the mech suit in the Fallout TV show. His name escapes me, but he's now not preaching, but he's doing a lecture at a school, and essentially Islamic extremists attacked the school, and he's there. So kind of an action movie, and I don't know if you've seen it, but I'm going to play it, and then let me know what you think. Cool?
Cool.
Here it is.
Your country is beneath contempt. We who love and serve Allah fought back against the Americans and the Zionists from the scourge of secularism and the lands of unbelief.
Anyone gonna listen to Captain Saunders tomorrow? The retired Delta Force soldier with a new book out.
He's the polar opposite of those brain-dead protesters.
Given the current climate, should Clay Saunders even be allowed on campus?
Mr. Saunders is a close personal friend of Chancellor Friedman. This is a decision I cannot fight.
There are 3 ways Islam will conquer the West. Through immigration, through the wombs of our women, and by using our nation's freedoms against us. Are you paying attention?
Listen carefully.
The token black eye security guard's going to get it in the first freaking 10 minutes. They're going to take that guy out. You know that. Security guard's going to be like, have a Twinkie in his hand, and he's going to take a few rounds to the chest. It always happens. The security guard always gets taken out. It's horrible.
Great Satan, America will fall. You are infidels. The bodies of women are not pure, and the men's souls are unclean.
What makes them so dangerous? Their goals are not in this life, but the next.
I got friends here. I can't just leave.
Listen to me! Illallah. We cannot run or hide from what is coming. We have to fight.
I will be rewarded 10,000 times in the next life. When you die, you're nothing. Only one way to find out.
That's the American way.
It has a little bit of Nakatomi Plaza vibes.
I would watch that.
I mean, I would watch that too. It looks good, but it's funny because this is what happened to conservative voices on college campuses, and to turn it into, a glimmer film of like, okay, well, let's spin off what would have happened if there was this terrorist attack or whatever it would be. Once again, we're seeing this all over, and do you think this is the people who support Judeo-Christian beliefs are pushing back against the Nation of Islam? Does it look like this fight is happening in the information space? Because it was very much anti-Jew for the last 2 years. Now, I mean, I'm seeing this massive anti-Islamic push. It's like, we don't want that religion here. We don't care about the people. We don't care about Arabs. But no, we're not allowing it to come here. And I feel like there's a massive media push. I want to get your take on that.
Well, yeah, and it's long overdue, because when you hear the stories that are coming out of these areas that have been overrun by many individuals who come from these majority Muslim countries and who bring all the worst aspects of those countries with them, you begin to understand it's almost as if there's a canary in the coal mine moment, and people realize, hey, something is not right about this. I'm sorry, but we're living in this amazing country, America, but there's individuals here in this country who are being forced to listen to the Islamic call to prayer 5 times a day that are breaking local noise ordinances.
European people.
Yes.
And there are individuals in their halls of power, even at the city and state level, who are allowing it to happen. Here in Texas, we have been overrun in many cities, particularly up in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, by many other individuals. And people are starting to see the negative aspects of many of these cultures that come here that in no way, shape, or form resemble that which America is. There's people who, don't feel safe going to Costco's anymore, or they're seeing these unhygienic practices, or they feel less safe, or they feel like they're at risk of assault. And these are things that are within our power to even help fix at the state and local level. But, if we're too busy, arguing about the semantics of grainy footage of what happened to Charlie Kirk, then we are realizing what's literally encroaching in our own backyards. Then that's how the radical Islam is going to conquer the West without even really having to fire much of a shot, because we're so distracted talking about things that are nowhere near as important and nowhere near even as dangerous, I would argue, as the threat that radical Islam poses to the future of America. And it cannot be something that we just allow to sit on the back burner for a while, because that's exactly how, frogs will lose their lives in a pot of boiling water that gradually increases temperature. And I think that's been happening for a while, but some people are just awake enough to feel that temperature rising a little too much. And they're starting to realize that they might have done something that unfortunately cannot be undone as quickly as it was done. It's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of consistent, sustained attention on this. It's just something that's going to be very difficult to undo what's been done, but it still has to be done just the same.
Reactionary ideology. That's the philosophy, right? I think that they feel betrayed that we repudiate global warming. I think they feel betrayed that we pushed against the vaccine. I think they feel betrayed that in 2016 and questioning what they did with Russian collusion and the impeachments. I think they're reactionary towards the way we felt about Obama. But what's funny is that they didn't vote for him in his second term either, and he was so unpopular. And I think it's reactionary ideology, and they're basically saying, no, there's no problem with Islam. What are you talking about? No, there's no problem with socialism. Socialism's fine. You guys are a bunch of crazy people. And they don't believe it. I don't think, they went to the same schools we did. They had the same parents we did. They know what's out there, but they have created this systematic process in their brain to shut off anything that opposes the narrative that they've adopted. And listen, we do it too. I'm not going to say we don't. But usually there was a minority of us, the Q-tards as I call them, that would do this. But now you've got the blue tards, which are just as bad. And unfortunately, if you take 6.5% of the population who are Q-tards and 6.5% of the population of blue tards, now you've got a very large voting block that can make really horrible decisions, because it really only takes 2 to 3% of the population to change an election. And that's how close the last 4 have been, except for the greatest president in history with 81 million votes that were completely legitimate and everything was fine.
We'll never be dethroned from that title. How do you ever do it? Where are all those people?
He can't even get his trash can funded, dude. He can't even get Obama 2.0, the Star Wars trash can, that mess in Chicago. So don't you love what they're doing? They're just like, okay, folks, we're going to put a beautiful place with parks and volleyball and golf, and there's going to be a rowing center with a 400-yard pool. And you're like, sweet, can some of those communities go there? No, if you step foot on it, you'll be arrested and you need ID. And you're kind of like, wait a second. Geez, it's almost like you guys believe in walls. I want to play Damani's video, but I need to give Olivia a chance to hit our focus on the Friday jacket drawing. I want to let you guys know it's $25 to enter to win. There's 3 jackets you can get. You can get the Sherpa Dumb Nation blanket, which is like the coziest thing ever. The Dumb Nation original jacket, along with Red Friday and the collegiate jacket. These are all stitched, 36,000 stitch counts, Columbia jackets, 1 entry per person. Monday, we will do the drawing. All entries get entered into the end of your drawing. Last year, it was amazing. We gave away a wooden flag. We gave away autographed books, autographed pictures, jacket, a whole bunch of stuff. This one is going to be massive this year. So we want everyone to have a chance to get in it. In December, we will have you can enter as many times as you want. And that is going to be an awesome time. So $25 gets you in it to win it. Overtime tonight, we're going to go to 9:30. We're going to let Damani get out of here at 9 o'clock. He's got a family and he's got to get his beauty sleep. But I will go into overtime for an extra 30 minutes if we hit it. Right now, we're I don't know, probably about 60% to goal. So let's get that green needle all the way up to 1,000. All right. Here is Damani's video. You want to set this up for us? The title is Racist People Can't Have Water Fights Going Forward. No shit. This is going to be great.
I'm not even going to say anything. Just watch it. It'll all make sense.
All right. Let's watch this thing. Here we go. Make sure I got the audio right. Okay.
European people, when they get hot this summer, don't have no water fights, no water gun fights. Because guess what? The Super Soaker was made by a black man. Let this heat cook y'all.
So Europeans aren't allowed to use things invented by black people. Let's put the shoe on the other foot and see how much you like it, okay? Look up real quick. That ceiling fan you're sitting under, oh yeah, that was invented by Philip Deal. Oh yeah, and what was he? Oh yeah, he was a white man. The air conditioning you have in your apartment or in your home, oh, who created that? Oh yeah, that was a Willis Carrier. And what was he? Oh yeah, he was a white man. The cell phone you recorded this video on, who invented the cell phone? Oh, that was Martin Cooper. Oh yeah, and he was what? A white man. Yeah. Oh, the electric light bulb, oh, that was invented by Thomas Edison. Oh yeah, and what was he? Yeah, he was a white man. Oh, and let's go ahead and for good measure too, that Hello Kitty blanket around your shoulders, that one's invented by Yuko Shimizu, and she was, Japanese. So go ahead and take that off too, just to be safe, since we're not allowed to use things that other cultures created, right? And think about this. The Super Soaker was not even the first water gun ever created, but I already can tell you're a couple tacos short of a combination platter, probably graduated with a PhD from Clown College. So in the words of Michael Jordan, stop it. Get some help. Because if you apply this logic the other way, you are not going to like how it...
Oh, dude. Bomb, drop, Damani Felder.
You gotta hit him square between the eyes sometimes, dude. That's just fun for me at this point, because there's so many ignorance. I'm sure you've seen that quote. I'm gonna butcher it, I'm sure, but it was we used to think that the cause of ignorance was a lack of access to information, and then we basically found out it wasn't that. And like that video, doing the research for that and getting all that information together, it took me less than 5 minutes. It is not hard. But people now are so bold in their ignorance. They will sit there and we're still doing this crazy song and dance. Black people this, white people that. I mean, can we just stop doing this? Like, I'm so tired of it. It really kicked off in the 2010s with Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, and then it metastasized further with George Floyd. And then I'm sick of it. So whenever I see something like that, it's like, it's almost my obligation to be like, look, almost like we're not all this crazy, right? Like there's some people who are willing to speak those truths. And the hope is that it becomes more of just a rude awakening, but a needed awakening for people who might say, oh, well, I didn't realize that the first, no. Okay, we're going to snip that in the bud real quick, because the more that mentality is allowed to fester, the less we can focus on things that actually do matter. So the intent is to make it humorous, make it interesting, but also make it real. And what do I call it? And not even play patty cakes with these people anymore. Like, it's time for that level of fire, metaphorical, to be launched in the other direction, and with an unceasing spirit, because people really do believe like that. And it's up to us to actually debunk that as quickly as possible to move back to what's actually most important.
Yeah, Christians, the time for passivity is long over. And, I get really tired of, why do you need to curse? I don't need to curse. But there are times that I want to express myself in different idioms and different metaphors. And the vernacular can sometimes get, still be logical and poignant, but it can also drop an F-bomb here once in a while. And that's not something you necessarily do on your show, or on your videos, but in person, I just think that we've been very, very kind and very, very nice. And we owe it to ourselves, but more importantly, we owe it to these people to let them know how retarded they're being. And that's why I get all hey, man, why don't you just ignore those people? You know, they're trolls. I'm like, I make my living off trolls, right? My haters watch me more than the people who love me. So it is what it is. It's a wonderful video. I expect that thing to be at 30,000 to 40,000 likes by morning. I do. That's one of your good ones. That one's going to go. That one, I guarantee you that one goes. It's good. And you don't need to, dude, I've told you, listen, it is so, okay? That's the way it works. It's just,
you and me, we both just trade haymakers at this point. It's like, I'll wake up one day, you're front and center, like racking it in. I'm like, yes, Matt, go, right? I'm just like, all right, it's my turn. So it's like, let's see who's gonna, tomorrow you'll unthrone me. You'll have another banger yourself.
Listen, my videos don't necessarily take, it's usually like, what takes off is ridiculous. Like I could just like dissect the preamble and I could bring, draw lines of sinew and delineation to the Second Amendment and the 10th Amendment and how they're ultimately synonymous with each other for this reason. And it'd just be just a bomber, just a crush video where people are just like, damn. And it just like 25 likes. And I'm like, okay. And then I'll do one where like it's somebody, who is eating frozen yogurt and something like that, and all of a sudden they get whacked upside the head by somebody because they have a MAGA hat on, and that thing gets 40 million views. And I'm like, I don't understand. I don't know. The algorithm sucks. So.
There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just, it is what it is. But we're grateful because, this is the public town square in a lot of ways. And, creators, we're not asking for special treatment. But I don't think it's too much to ask to say, if someone puts effort into something that is valuable or is a good piece of media, there's no reason other than some sort of suppression for that to not reach the people that it needs to. Because at this point, social media platforms, they know who is going to engage with your content. And the question becomes, are they going to allow it to spread or not? So it's always nice when you're able to kind of hit that little mini jackpot and makes you feel like you're actually doing some good, because those videos, the ones that do numbers are the ones that ultimately, ironically, for those who aren't familiar with how this works, the ones that go super viral and gain a lot of traction, it's because the algorithm is actually pushing it to people who do not follow you. And those are the people that we need to be engaging with.
That's correct.
We need to be shaking the mental chains that they've got. So every time something like that happens, I get excited because I'm like, what if out of the 5 million views this video gets, what if 5 or 10, 15 people see it and this becomes the turning point for them? Because that's what really excites me at this point.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And whenever I see my stuff shared to our Occupy Democrats, I'm just like, yes, thank you, God. And they all come in, you Nazi, you piece of, yes, I'm a Jew, but whatever, man. My grandma was Jew, but that's cool. The last name's Speer. Albert Speer was like fourth in charge. I can be a Nazi, whatever. Just spread it on. And then, of course, I just play with them and draw attention. And then we turn one person posting 76 times and they get a top fan badge. And you're like, sweet, I can advertise to their friends list. And, and Damani and I are just like, come on in. Just, and there's like, listen, man, I swear I'm going to hound you forever. I'm never going to let you rest. I'm going to be here every day. And you're like, no, stop. Don't hurt me.
No, wait, no, please stop.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Yeah.
It's fun. But you know what else is fun too is you watched any basketball lately?
Oh God, I got this. Yeah.
You heard anything interesting in the basketball world? There's several things you could talk about. I'm curious if there's anything.
I've got it right here for you, baby. I got it right here for you. Here, let's do this real quick. Tommy Cawthon donated $50. One for me and another for my wife, Lisa. Love seeing Damani. Great show so far. Tommy, thank you. Folks, this is getting close. This puts us at 664, 66% to goal. I think we're going to hit this sucker. Let's show Damani how we do it here. So, because Damani is going to be coming out here in October or somewhere in that realm, and we're going to sit down and have a couple whiskeys and a cigar and have a conversation about business and where we want to be and how he and I can do more together. And I want him to see what things are possible. So let's hit this son of a biatch. Here it is. WNBA. I can't even say it. NBA player Enes Kanter. Enes. What? I don't care. Last name Kanter comes out, and he's a retired NBA player, and he officially proclaims that he is ready to play in the WNBA. Let's watch this. So good. If you stole this video, I'm going to kill you because I was going to do it after the show.
I didn't steal it.
I'm dropping it tomorrow. So let's do a co-op or something, dude, because like both of our opinions on this would be great. All right, here we go. Watch this.
After careful consideration and reviewing the current eligibility guidelines, I am officially declaring myself a WNBA prospect. If simply declaring who you are is all that's required, then I meet every single requirement necessary to compete in the WNBA. My team and I have carefully examined the WNBA's eligibility criteria and governing framework surrounding self-identification and inclusion. Based on the current guidelines, I can and am officially declaring my eligibility for the upcoming WNBA draft in May 2027. I am definitely not here to mock, make fun of, or disrespect any community or personal choices. I am simply asking that the current rules be applied equally to everyone. The rules that represent the very values many WNBA players and coaches have publicly advocated for. My team and I are prepared to ensure these guidelines are applied equally, consistently, and without exception. And I look forward to the WNBA honoring its stated principles. See you at training camp.
That's so good. That's all you can do. Like, that's all you can do now at this. And at some point, like, do we really have to have President Trump come out and identify as a woman for them to realize how stupid their ideology is?
He should, and just be like, I'm the first woman president. He should totally steal that.
It's low-hanging fruit. Yeah, it's absurd, but that's the point, right? The more you see this become, like, wasn't there, I want to say was it Clay Travis or someone?
Yeah.
And they recently put up this bet. I'll give $10 million for a high school boys basketball team.
Yep.
Yeah, to play a WNBA team. And they're not going to take that bet because they know that. There's some good women in WNBA or good athletes, but I saw something from Angel Reese. Looked like she was having an exorcism on the court and throwing basketballs over her head backwards. It's like, that's not basketball. No. So, but the absurdity has reached an inflection point. So, videos like that, good for him. I know it's probably something, more for comedic value than anything, but the only way out of this corner that we've found ourselves in is to utilize absurdity very strategically, but also relentlessly. Like, that has to be something I want to see every week. Oh, is there a woman who wants to play in the NFL? Put her in there. Let's see what happens. Like, just do it.
Right.
Right. Don't put her in there as kicker either. I want her to put her as a running
middle
back
linebacker. Put her as a middle linebacker, right?
Yeah.
Listen, we're going to give you a chance. You're going to be on defense, so you really get to decide what you're going to do, right? Because nobody's going to hit you. And you know what's going to happen every single play. She's going to be running around wondering what the hell's going on. Not being able to catch up. Some guy's going to break to the outside. She's going to get her feet tied, break her ankles. But you put her in as running back, she'll be dead by the freaking, first quarter is over. And it's not funny. I mean, listen, it's like we saw this movie before. It's called Lucas. Lucas almost died in the end zone, man. You remember Lucas? Throw it to Lucas. And then he catches it. Then they all dogpiling on him. And he's in there. He's like, comes out and he's a quadriplegic. Dude, give me a break. The guy was like 5'6" and 97 pounds, and he's playing against guys who are 275. The cornerbacks are 250.
And what's really crazy too is you always see it happen one way. It's always the men who can't hack it who are the first ones screaming. Right. And what's crazy is there's a video. I'm actually working on this. Probably won't make this video for another week or two. That shows you how far backed up you are with. In the content creation game. Anyway, there's a video of this clearly male who was talking about how there were individuals who were trying to get him out of a woman's I think it was a Pilates class or something like that that was clearly for women only. And he's there with his soft little non-threatening effeminate voice and talking about, oh, there were some women who came to my defense and they stuck up for me because they're so sweet. And it's like, those women are some of the biggest threats to progress in this country because they will sign on to their own demise under the auspices of I'm being loving and tolerant. And that's the biggest poison pill that you find from Caucasian female leftists the majority of the time. I don't know what it is.
It's Whitey needs to get slapped around. I'm with you, dude. White liberal women are going to literally get us all killed.
Yeah. And they won't even realize
it's not black women. You know what black women are? They're like, socialism, fuck that. They're like Islam? It's not black people, dude. And this is we make a lot of jokes, but I'm with you, man. If you look at every one of these things, you take a look at the protests against ICE. It's all white people. It's all white women. It's old people. This is USA. Okay, let's talk about music. Let's talk about rap music. Let's talk about top 10 on the charts for music. Can anyone explain to me what happened to rap music being in the top 10, top 20 every single frickin' week, no matter how shitty some of those songs were, but coincide that with USAID? Someone explain to me how the entire continent of Africa, which was like 92% Democrat, literally had 78% of it turned Republican when USAID went under. You have to ask yourself the question, how much of this stuff is cultural manipulation? How much of this stuff is bringing in the media network, the state-run media, propaganda, and ultimately paying for clicks that aren't social but actual real interactions outside of the internet space? Because folks, if you think that everything's not for sale, radio is for sale, TV was for sale. Now we've moved into social media is for sale. But the interesting point is, for the longest time, it wasn't radio, it wasn't TV, it wasn't the movies, it was people. You could pay for people to do what you want, to create dissension, to create cynicism and derision. And if it echoes in your space, it feels like it's everywhere. It feels like it's everybody. But if you go walk outside your neighborhood and just ask everybody, say, listen, I'm going to ask you one of the most controversial things I can possibly ask you. Do you hate Jews? They'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about, Matt? What? Do I hate Jews? No. Dude, Benny Siegel lives 2 doors down. I was just playing ball in his yard. People don't feel this way, but the internet feels like it's everybody. But it's not. It's the way they control the information. Go ahead, buddy.
Yep. No, you're spot on. The only thing I can really conclude is that the reason so many of the white liberal women are the way they are is because they have been brainwashed to believe that, number one, their race is solely responsible for all the ills of the world, which is absolutely not true. And then preying on the inherent female desire for more emotive characteristics, then they feel as if it is their obligation and their duty to go out of their way to try to absolve their race for infractions that in many cases were never even perpetuated by the vast majority of members of that race. So it's like, I'm trying to help. I'm the messianic savior. I'm going to help you. Oh, look, what's that book that Trump used to always read? The Snake. Where you take the snake in, oh, I'm trying to be nice because, oh, you're so downtrodden. Oh, I'm so sorry for slavery, even though the vast majority of white people never even owned slaves themselves. But if you have a brain in your head, you know it already, but I digress. And it's just like, I want to feel good, because that's what it comes down to. It's emotions. I want to feel good. I want to get social validation because I exist in this social media echo chamber that I created where everyone thinks just like me. There is no dissent. There's no critical thinking. So all I care about is the degree to which I can utilize that social validation to help me feel good about myself. Because it's not about the minorities. It's not about the Muslims. It's about, I want people to see me. It's very Pharisaical almost. I want people to see me, the Pharisees in the Bible praying really loud so everybody can see them, right? And we know what the Bible said about that. It's not about this performative life, but that's all these people know how to live because they really are chasing that social validation themselves. That's why they are the way they are. And until we stop giving them that attention, honestly, in some cases, they're just going to keep doing it.
Right. And white guilt is, I mean, of all the things that have been created, it's one of the worst. I mean, listen, you can have empathy, but coining the phrase of suicidal empathy is where we're at. And we're being so empathetic. It's allowing people to get away with things and atrocities that are farcical, but absolutely dangerous. I mean, yes, there's a level of comedy to this, and it's hard not to laugh. But there's going to come a point where these people don't believe this is funny. They actually believe the shit coming out of their mouth, and that is a scary thing. Beer Battered Gummy Shark, with the best name of the show so far, says, so EBT, let me see if I can see this thing. So EBT and SNAP isn't socialism. It's a safety net, and a safety net that is operating inside a capitalist society does not make that socialism, just like a fire department doesn't abolish private property. The definition of socialism has been used and repurposed. Socialism in its truest form is government controls the means of production and all production. All revenue goes to the government, and that revenue isn't designed from taxes. It's designed from that they put programs in place that ultimately they just confiscate the overall dollars that workers would get and drive the means of paid labor so low that the government makes more profit since they own the means of production. With that comes no level of meritocracy, no level of earned value from you, because there's nothing you can do to gain more. And there's no incentive for the government to produce more at a lower cost because they control it. So it doesn't matter. Shit begets shit. So
well, and EBT,
go ahead.
EBT, I didn't mean to cut you off, but EBT and SNAP are meant to be, like you said, temporary. It's just like the temporary protected status for Haitians that came over during the Obama years was meant to be temporary. But the core in many aspects of the modern leftist ideology is taking that which is meant to be temporary, something that's meant to actually help someone in the short term, and make that become a perpetual subsidy that never ends, that we, the taxpayers, foot the bill for. That's really what it boils down to.
Yes.
They don't want this to be something where, oh, okay, I need SNAP, I need EBT. Okay, yeah, we're not going to sit here and just let you starve to death. Like, we've got people who are going to be willing to help you while you are down and out. But now you have literally, even in my own demographic, unfortunately, in many cases, or my own ethnic group, there's people who are trained from a young age to understand how to weaponize and utilize a system to where they become a government leech forever. And that was never what was intended. It was never intended for you to be, oh, I'm a fourth generation SNAP person here. Like, what kind of a, how do you even say that in public and not feel some degree of shame? But so it's not meant to be something that lasts forever. But under socialism, that is all you would ever have, because like Matt said, the government controls the means of production. The government will decide what you are entitled to. And that's how you bring in rationing. And we're about to see this happen literally in 2026 in real time in New York City with these government-run grocery stores from Zoran Mamdani. He's going to drive out all competition. I did a video about this too. And what's funny is TikTok didn't like it too much, but that's another story for another day. But it's going to drive all the competition out. And then guess what? People get used to, oh, okay, I can get this for this price here and there. Then the government controls everything. They control the prices. They control what you're able to have access to. Next thing you know, we're going to start having longer lines. People are not going to be able to get what they need. So then the quality slips. So then the government's going to start giving out, rancid food to people on a ration schedule because they are the only show in town anymore. And that is the ultimate end goal of anything that is socialist or communist. And it's common sense to see, but some people, again, are going to have to learn the hard way. But I feel bad for people who would rather not have that, but who are having this foisted upon them.
So here, let's get deep on this, because this is really important. There is no socialist communist country that's ever been successful in the history of the world. Period. Scandinavian countries, they tell you to shut the up when you say and call them socialists. In fact, you look at the president of Sweden and Finland, both said in multiple expos, no, we are not. No, we have social programs. There's a very big, because remember, Democrats repurpose words. So they hear social and they go, oh, it's socialism. No, just like an ice cream social isn't a Marxist belief, you fucking retard.
And do you know how high the tax rates are over in these countries?
Correct. And also that they don't have $1.4 trillion, $1.2 trillion in defense because they're a member of NATO. And this has been going on since World War II. They use the United States and United Nations and NATO to protect themselves. And if all of a sudden we turn that off, Canada would shit a purple Twinkie, and so would the Scandinavian countries.
Yep.
So this is the thing. Before the government can own, now this is going to go deep here, and if we have any lefties on here, hold on to your tampons, especially the guys.
God, Matt, you do this to yourself.
So when before the government can own the means of production, the government must destroy the entrepreneurial spirit of the masses.
Yep.
They have to make you so downtrodden and so low that you have no other paths to rebound or resuscitate your previous position and disposition in life, and they have to supplement it. And you go to the government for answers. And that's what they did in the inner cities. They took away their ability, their entrepreneurial spirit, their passion, their moxie, and replaced it with the demand for government assistance. And the moment that they did that, they owned them. Yep. And that's the only way socialism will take place. That's the only way communism will take hold, is you just have to destroy the spirit of the people. And you do that by taking away God. You do that by ostracizing. You do that by casting them into a spotlight of derision. You try to destroy their credibility, and you give them no hope. And if that doesn't work and all else fails, put them in cattle cars and give them some Zyklon B and put them in crematoriums. And that's something that they do as well. You were smiling about my tampon coming. You said you do this to yourself. What do I do? What do I do to myself?
You invite the trolls. You know, I respect you. Take my hat off to you because you engage with them way more than I do. I just kind of pretend they don't exist. I'm just like, I know you're watching. I know you're out there. I know you're watching. Thank you for watching. Please keep watching and keep commenting. But you're loath to get a response from me or me actively soliciting your engagement. That's a Matt thing right there.
I get it. I do. I love
your
them.
play, buddy.
I love them, and I do call upon myself. Listen, I want to give an update real quick, folks. 664.98. Slowed down a little bit, but we are doing well. We are on Jacket Friday. Remember, we're giving away right now 1 jacket and 2 bags of coffee. If we hit 750, we got to hit 750. So we're about 80 some odd dollars away from hitting 750, which would be 2 bags of coffee plus a jacket. We had 1,000. We give 2 jackets away, 2 bags of coffee. Let's get into it. It's $25. Enter to win it. We spin on Monday. Let's hit it. We need to hit this damn number. So let's get there. Here's Scott LoBaido, a friend of the show, someone who we've had on. We love Scott. And you guys know that he was essentially just going after Mamdani verbally and hit the floor. And I didn't go into a lot of detail, but I did allude to some of this because I was talking to his manager, who has, become, I guess, a friend of the show. And Scott died for 2 minutes. And they had to resuscitate him, and the paramedics did. He was in intensive care, and today he wanted to share a message. And listen, talking about moxie, right? This guy has a pair of brass cojones he's just like, his first instinct isn't, okay, I probably should stop smoking, or maybe I should stop screaming to the top of my lungs. Maybe I should dial my blood pressure down below 180. Nope. This guy's full tilt. Listen to this. Here's his message if you haven't heard it.
Good morning, America. Sorry about the dramatic images, but I felt I owe you all a little update on how I am because of the many inquiries and the prayers and well wishes.
Can't go louder than this at the first. The ending gets louder, but you'll get the general understanding of it.
I'm okay. I am recovering from the placement of my new Star Trek atomic space influx capacitator here at Northwell Hospital. And eventually I will in person thank those heroic folks who literally brought me back to life. I was flatlined for a couple of minutes. Anyway, I got pulled back. But a lot of you are telling me it's time to hang up my sword. But I must assure you that that is not possible and that will not be happening. Although I am incapacitated today from my temporary bat cave, I assure you business as usual continues. As all of you folks in New York City will notice today as you look up to the skies between the hours of 11:30 and 3:30 p.m.
So, of course, immediately got on the phone when I saw that. I'm like, okay, what is this shit for real? So here is the flyover that Scott promised in all of its glory.
Where Scott LoBaido organized a protest, America's Artists, against Zohran Mamdani, and they booed him off. Scott had a confrontation, actually had a heart attack, almost died. But today, we're just getting this video in, first here on Newsmax. Scott LoBaido apparently chartered a plane from his hospital bed, and he's flying this banner over New York City with a direct message to Zohran Mamdani, and the guy was almost dead. So back from the grave, you see this flying up and down New York City. This is actually a live view right now, first on Newsmax. Mamdani, stay away from ground zero. And I don't think you could be any more clear than that. Shocked a guy who just had open heart surgery. Took the time, but I guess he wants Mamdani to know that the Boeing's not going to stop, and New York City's getting a clear message from Staten Islanders led by Scott LoBaido.
Bro, I mean, if only I could be so cool someday.
That's so American. Like, that's America right there. I don't care what anybody says. Like, and, you know, all my best wishes to Scott as well, but just that's what makes you smile deep down. Like, you know what's good, you know what's right, and you know, even in the face of all these questions and in the face of so much uncertainty, you're still willing to take the fight to the right people. I mean, there's nothing more American than that. I love it.
Yeah. Him calling me a jackass was the highlight of my life. I thought that was the greatest thing. And he's like, you're a jackass. But he was laughing. The first part of the interview, he gets nervous, right? And he's done these things 1,000 times, and you wouldn't think that he gets nervous, but he gets a little gun shy. And so I was like, all right, well, I got to loosen him up. And by the end of the interview, he's cracking up, and we're laughing. We're having a great time. Was a really good dude. So it was fun. Folks, Jacket Friday, 664.98 is where we're at. We want to get 750 at least, so we give 2 bags of coffee away and hit goal. Let's do this. You got a little bit left in you there, D? Are you okay on time?
I can go. Let's do another about 5 minutes, and I gotta jump in before little baby girl decides it's time to go to sleep.
Roger that. Let's do this. Let's do prison pants.
Wait, what?
Prison pants. So you understand the universal call sign that my booty is available for pleasure in prison, right? So it's keeping your drawers down around your thighs.
The height of inner city fashion, it would appear.
Oh, so très chic. so here is prison pants. Now this lady, like, I think, like, we talked about fatigue, that there's a little bit of Islam fatigue. And a lot of people were doing this, that there's black fatigue. And listen, this shit needs to stop, okay? There are if you think black people don't have a problem with people in the inner city who are bangers and make their neighborhoods unsafe and they have no respect, you just haven't spent a lot of time in black community. We talked about this. There is a very serious culture inside black communities of family and faith and discipline, and they know how hard it is. And to assume that just because you have some yahoos who live in Philly or live in the Bronx or live in Detroit who are constantly running amok and doing stupid shit in Chicago, it doesn't mean that that's the mass collective. But the greatest thing I've ever seen is the accountability from the older generation to the younger generation in black communities. And you talk about Hispanic women with flip-flops beating the shit out of their kids. When you get a strong black woman going after a young punk, it's something to behold. Here it is. Prison Pants is the video. Watch this. Now, the lady in pink is our object of choice. Second object is a gentleman who is wearing maybe his gang colors and his boxers, and that would be arterial red for Bloods. But his pants are somewhere across the horizon at this point. I think they're down around his knees. And she sees this, and there is some sort of interaction that takes place that's indiscernible. But watch this anyway.
Security. Can you do something about this?
So she says, look here, can you do something about this? As she looks at the security guard and points to the guy flaunting his drawers in this DMV or whatever it is.
Hands up something. That's disrespectful. I ain't saying nothing to you. You better go on, man. You better go. Get you some business, for real. Get you some business. I ain't worried about you. She said she put your hand on me.
She just keeps talking shit. And she's like, you put your hand on me, we're going to go to business.
What you want? What you want? What you want? Don't dress you. Settle down. And they shouldn't even let him in there like that.
So, let me ask you a question. Is that what it's going to take? Because in World War II, the elder generation really led the young men, because the first to volunteer for the war was the slightly older generation. If you look at the before the draft took place, a lot of the 30 to 35-year-olds self-selected to volunteer. Now, I'm not saying the youth didn't, but it was really the older generation that kind of led this movement. And if you take a look and we go into any conflict or any struggle, whether it be the Great Depression or whether we look at the American Revolution or the Civil War, it's always the older generation that steps up and says, okay, enough, and grabs the younger generation by the ear or the hind parts and give them a swift kick. Maybe that's the solution. Do we feel that this empathy has not only coddled this generation to the entitlement that they have, but that we've silenced the older generation and they no longer feel that their opinions and their strength is as valuable as it once was? I just want to get your thoughts on it. And that's what that video kind of sparked in me and some of the questions that I had. So we'll end on a deep note.
Well, I think that, yes, the older generation still has a voice, and they're going to have to start using it a lot more regularly. But I think it's only effective to the degree to which the younger generation is willing to stop being so self-absorbed. That's one of the worst things to come out of social media, I would argue, is that everyone becomes the main character, it seems like. Right. Everyone they want. And what's crazy is it's even marketed to people that you are the main character. You are the star of the show. And people need to realize sometimes you're not. And that's OK. But when I see a commercial for like a new cell phone that comes out to where you can take a picture, but then edit everyone else out of the picture to make yourself the star of the show. What message are we preaching? We're preaching you don't answer to anyone. You're accountable to no one. You
can do whatever you want with no consequences. And some of that is part and parcel of soft parenting. Some of that is part and parcel of, having two parents who are working hard just to try to make ends meet. And then the child effectively becomes a ward of the state. They're around bad influences. They're stuck in the school system all day. They don't get any sort of positive affirmation at home. So we know what's going to happen in those cases. But if the youth are receptive to and open to, being told how to make better choices, that could hopefully make some impact. But in the Black community particularly, we have to stop glamorizing this self-sabotaging behavior.
Yeah.
Like, how in the world do you take yourself seriously as a man if that's how you choose to walk around in public? And then you mentioned, you heard him mention in the video talking about respect. What is there to respect if you comport yourself this way?
Right.
And my parents taught me from a young age, they're like, you're going to tuck your shirt in, you're going to wear a belt. And back in the time, it was just like, maybe they're being a little too on the homeschool side of things. But the older I get, the more I realize it was about the image that you portray is going to dictate in many cases the respect that you are innately going to be given or not. So if you carry yourself as someone who ostensibly looks as if they are not worthy of respect, or worse, who doesn't even respect themselves enough to carry themselves like they're going somewhere,
right,
then how can you ever expect someone else to give you that respect that you claim that you want? Wow. Hopefully the younger generation will actually get that, because they need to, not just in my demographic, but in many others as well. There has to be a return to respect for authority and a willingness to hear what they have to say, because the older generation went through way more than the younger generation ever can even imagine. And it's important we don't forget that, because, people today, they'll complain about how expensive the cost of living is, or this or that. And yes, those things may be true, but they also never understood, how far a pot of beans and some bacon grease had to go back in the 40s and 50s.
Right.
And that's what bred that indomitable spirit that led us to have the greatest generations, the golden ages, where we finally had some prosperities because enough people suffered long enough and had to be resourceful enough to create those strong men. Strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. And we have to remember that that's how it happens every single time. So we have to have a return to those traditional values, traditional mores, if we hope to, go far beyond our 250th birthday and well into the future.
Always appreciate our dialogue and our conversations, D. Let them know where to find you. You get the final minute. You know how this works in this show. It's all yours, and go for it.
Likewise, Matt. And you know what? I can't wait to be up there, like in person, hanging out in the studio. Because
excited.
last time I was up there, y'all were still putting it together. So I'm just like, I finally get to be in the mothership. But no, thank you for having me as always. I'm gonna try to do a better job of, not having those last minute things come up, because I do enjoy the conversations as well. But to those out there who are still watching, thank y'all for spending your Friday evening with us. We love breaking it down with you all, and we do hope that you do feel like you truly are a part of the family, because you are. And we could not do what we do without you. And we just ask you to continue to, press that like button, press the share buttons, the follow, whatever you see us pop up. It does a lot more than you could ever know. And we do definitely appreciate you. But those of you who are interested, you can find me at my Facebook page, Damani Bryant Felder. You can find me on Instagram at the Damani Felder, on X at the Damani Felder. And I know I'm forgetting, it's a TikTok as well. Those who are so inclined, TikTok is the Damani Felder as well. But the show must go on. The show will go on, and we continue to work hard to bring the content you've come to expect from us. So thank you. God bless you. Have a fantastic rest of the evening. I cannot wait to see you guys again.
Love you, buddy. Appreciate you. Give the family hugs. Tell T hello, and we'll see you next time, brother.
Will be, brother. God bless.
All right, man. Peace. Damani Felder, the man, the myth, the legend, a good friend, and someone who I really, 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 really appreciate. You know that. And I can't say anything but wonderful things about Damani. He's turned into one of my good friends, and can't imagine my life and without his influence and without his studious dedication to betterment of himself and anyone he interacts with. I think that's probably the best thing I can say about Damani. He always wants to better people around him, and he always wants to have you reach your highest potential. He celebrates people's success, and I have testimony on that I can talk about over and over and over, but he truly wants the people around him to be as successful as they possibly can. And that's what I love about him. You'll love Damani. Go follow him. Watch his stuff. It's always good. He doesn't have a bad take. I don't think I've ever had a take where I disagree with him. Moving on, folks, we're at 664.98. I'm going to stay on for a few more. I think we can hit the 750, and I want to give 2 bags of coffee away. So let's try to go for that. Brian Ellis, I saw you in chat. I hope you're doing okay. Sherry, I hope you're doing well. I'm just thinking about everybody who's going through the fires and everything else. It is Jacket Friday. How this works is pretty simple. We haven't had a lot of chance to talk about it, so I'm going to hit it real quick. Is you have a chance with $25 donation. You do that at thedumbshow.com/donate. You can win a Sherpa blanket. We don't do tchotchke shit. This is good stuff. The Columbia jackets, the Dumb Nation, the Red Friday, and Collegiate jacket. You can win one of these. They're all embroidered and stitched. They're gorgeous. 1 entry per person. You can also win a 100 pounds or 5 pounds, $100 bag of coffee. All entries will be drawn on Monday. If you've won before, unfortunately, you can't win again, but you can enter with $25. Olivia will put you in the end of year drawing. That's 12 possible entries into the drawing. Last year, we gave, $550 worth of stuff. We gave a wooden flag away. We gave autographed photographs. We had books that we gave away. Multiple things. I think we had Documents of Freedom we gave away, and it was wonderful. Great package. I anticipate that this package is going to be much bigger, a hell of a lot more, and this will be an epic giveaway this year. So if you have not had a chance, please take $25, throw it our way, thedumbshow.com/donate. It's our way to give back a little bit. These are great jackets and a great prize. It's Jacket Friday. He is what I would call a well-rounded man. He is. Football player, Texas A&M grad. Bobby Richardson donated $35.02 for anyone who needs. Bobby, thank you so much. It's great to see you, hun. We appreciate you. The Sherpa blanket is the hidden gem. That thing is not a joke. It is comfortable, warm, and super soft. Beer Battered Gummy Shark subbed and thumbs up. Thank you, my brother. We appreciate it. Damani, our relationship is interesting. Like Damani and I think that Damani and I will work together in the future and really co-op, very much like Leroy is a part of this community. And I don't know. I've got a feeling that Damani and I are on to bigger and better things. And the one thing you don't see, and this isn't about color, but this should be about perspective, is you don't see a lot of Ebony and Ivory co-hosts. You usually see people tend to stick together, military guys or nerds or, girls and men and whites and blacks. And I think Damani and I, when we put our heads together, can formulate a show that would be really highbrow, but extremely provocative, but innovative, but in my opinion, an overload. Like you would watch it and you'd be like, holy shit,
are you serious? Yep. Holy shit.
Because Damani is he possesses a plethora of knowledge. And not only is he a wordsmith, but he's what I call, and you hear this a lot, especially with Renaissance men, is that he's a warrior poet. And I believe that he is a true Renaissance man. He believes in holding himself to a certain standard. He articulates and communicates in a very effective way. His dialect, his level of discourse, it challenges you to be better. It challenges you to be a more educated listener. And I always love when he's on because I just get to shed the shackles of restraint and just wax intellect and don't give a shit if anyone picks up on it or not. And when you listen to him, you got to have a thesaurus. And I get the same thing. But if you look right back here, that little yellow book, it's a thesaurus. And there's 2 things that people need, in my opinion, this day and age. Actually, 3 books: the King James Bible, a dictionary, and a thesaurus, because we rely way too much on computers to inspire or create our positions and our thoughts. And I think if people expand their vocabulary and their understanding of words, that leads to a firmer grasp of history. It's a firmer grasp of concepts that are usually out of reach from a sociological or a philosophical standpoint or an existentialist point of view. And when you use a thesaurus, it allows you, first, the dictionary allows you to understand those things. A thesaurus allows you to interpret and communicate those things in an outward fashion. Damani is a firm believer in those three things as well. I hope you enjoyed him on the show because I thoroughly love that man. $700 is where we're at, folks. We're $50 away from giving 2 bags of coffee and a jacket. I don't think we're going to hit the 2 jackets tonight, and that's okay. It's been kind of a tight month, but that's okay. We're going to have a great August. We know we are. But if you have a chance and you have 2 people who want to get in, you can get yourself a bag of coffee, 2 bags of coffee possibly, and a jacket. Can't beat that. Here we go. Let's keep going. We're going to go in for a little bit. Olivia, it's our last night. She's going to go away for the weekend with my daughter, and I'm going to miss her terribly. But I think we can stay on for a little bit. This video is about library books, and I've brought this to attention to a lot of people. Loretta, you're amazing. Loretta, you're in. If anyone else needs to get in, please let me know. If you have not won before and you can't afford it, let us know. We'll get you taken care of, okay? We're all about it. Anyone that needs help needs to get in, let us know. We have quite a few people who donated more. We got your back. So just let us know. You can email Olivia at olivia@thedumbshow and let her know, too, if you're listening to this on the podcast. We got your 6, okay? We'll figure it out. Okay? Here is the video. I exposed this quite a while ago when it came to our schools, Loudoun County and Alexandria and Fredericksburg and other areas in Virginia that were putting out books that supported pedophilia and encouraged gay and lesbian sex. Well, now these books have become even more brazen and more bold, and they're talking about sexual self-gratification with electronics and toys and other type of things. And this stuff is horrible. Here is a video of these 2 ladies that respectfully created a stanchion and a little place of where people could educate themselves on what the libraries were carrying. The interesting point is they won't even let me in the library at our school. Our school is a public school, and I can visit, but I can't audit classes, and I can't go into the library. Nobody can. And these are the reasons why they don't allow us in. Watch this.
You are wrong. I know these people. These are my friends. You.
We want to show parents some of the things that are in the library here. So this is the 12-year-old book of the year. It tells kids the names of sex toys. Ew, what the heck? It's here on the shelf. Hear me?
No, I cannot believe that's on the shelf.
We're not against the book. We're just against the books being accessible to children.
Hi, how are you?
I'm against the book. Their children should not have access to any of this stuff. Now, listen, let me explain something to you. Nudie magazines and pictures of pinup girls and burlesque girls and pornography and Playboy and listen, every single boy, whether it's the days of Westerns when they didn't have film and they couldn't reprint these things, they would do sketches and cartoons. They're cave drawings of pictographs of nude images of women. From the dawn of time, our genetic coding has been reproduction. And we've assimilated to that in our most primal phase. And whether you believe Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden, or whether you believe that we came from the primordial soup, reproduction is at a cellular level, it's at a genetic level, and a nucleic acid level from a DNA level. And it's normal. And sexual curiosity is normal. There's nothing abnormal about that. And children should go through that process in a couple of ways. One is natural exposure, which comes through puberty and comes through hormones and comes for the first time they see the female form in a way that is seeing them not as a person with cooties, but in a sexual nature. And a boy or a girl is going to encapsulate that experience and use their memory to recall it for some sort of self-gratification, whether it's simply saying, wow, that was something that's very exciting, or I'm going to act on that excitement. I'm trying to handle this topic with a level of discernment that is bordering on a little archaic in my descriptions and maybe beating around the bush a little bit, but that's on purpose. But all of those things are normal. The only adult interaction that should take place in that process is from the parents. And it should be a guided conversation that is handled with much seriousness and as much tutorial and open discussion and maybe even demonstration from a prop standpoint or descriptors or pantomimes, but certainly not in a physical sense. And this is where the line is being crossed, is people are encouraging children to move to the physical by implanting curiosity that is not natural. I hope that makes sense, what I just said. And that is in all its rights grooming. And you are steering children and exposing them to things in the process that are not natural. And this is where I take umbrage with it. Discovering my dad's stack of Playboys in the garage was about as natural as it could be. I sought the information. And honestly, it was sparked from seeing a National Geographic of all things and going, wow, those are boobs. But that's weird. It's not my thing. But then when you saw Farrah Fawcett in a Playboy, you're like, holy moly. Or Suzanne Summers. And that was a natural progression. That was not something that just happened forcefully. It was a natural discovery. Some people find this with The Girl Next Door, or sometimes their first experience is when they start dating somebody and it's innocent and holding hands and it turns into a kiss and then they discover it. Some people do it from nocturnal emissions and in dreams. But no matter what it is, it's a natural stage of progression through human life. And every child goes through it. Every child. And some have thoughts about the opposite sex. And they think of a boy, and they're a boy. Or they think of a girl. And they go, ooh, gross, no. Or they go, well, that's not so gross. And these natural processes take place. And that's what discovery is. But a parent is to tell the child that there's nothing to be ashamed of, but these are private things. They're not to be expressed in the open. Very similar to playing with matches. You don't take a match and strike it and stick it into a kid's eye and go, see, that hurts. Don't touch him. You explain that there is a cause for these matches. There is an effect of these matches, and there is a danger to these matches, and you educate. The same thing is true with sexual education. At the behest of the parents, can be participated in with the school system if you so allow, but otherwise, absolutely not. It's designed for natural curiosity at the time of necessity from the child's perspective and not the adult. And the moment that we enter the adult, it becomes sexual in nature, and honestly, it becomes weird. Here's the rest of the video.
Yeah, you wanna give me that propaganda?
I'll tell you if you're really interested.
I'm not.
Do you want to know?
I really just want to give you
But I'll just tell you what we've been telling others. In the minor section.
Define a minor terms.
Under 18 legally. So I'm talking legally.
Right.
Under
so that's
18.
Where we definitely disconnect, but continue.
Again, we're talking about the graphic sexual activities that are here. And so we are saying,
no problem with that.
sure. That's just
Too graphic, yeah.
It is in the library, you're absolutely correct, but it is not in the minor section.
What section is it?
It's in the grades 6 to 12, which are not minors from a curriculum standpoint.
You don't.
They're minors. They're minors. They are not adults. They're not young adults. They're minors. Period. From a development nature sexually, mentally, and to sit here and say that their curricula is catered to adult level learning is absolutely incorrect. The age of consent in this country is 18 years old. And pretty much everywhere, minus a couple of places. And for you to sit here and literally look like the guy who would be clacked with cuffs for pedophilia, no offense, but a certain profile is met. It's usually people who are incels, who are incapable of copulating with a female. One, because the desire is not there. Two, more than likely, the ability and the appeal is not there. An incel. And this guy is absolutely the quintessential definition of both. Screams pedo. And his personal emotional reaction to this vitriol he is projecting onto these women, probably has to do with some very serious matriarchal psychological deficiencies. Because the grooming standards aren't there. There's an overemphasis on feminine communication and style and tonality to his voice. And that usually means a lack of a mother figure, because it's over extenuated in people that don't have a matriarchal figure in their life. And they assume that role themselves, and ultimately the characteristic traits that they believe women and mothers should have. And this creates an effeminate personality. But his overreaction to this speaks of a deep-seated issue.
Know what a legal minor is?
No, I know what a legal minor is. I'm very aware.
Okay, and it says there's nothing wrong with enjoying some. It's a fun, sugary treat.
So I would prefer my 12-year-old to not just be randomly surfing the internet and actually do understand where his sites are coming from. And he really should come to me so I can buy good.
That's your decision. Okay, that's okay.
I want my children to be able to walk over, who's over the age of 12, be able to pick up a book and see a butt plug in it. I want that. Again, I apologize.
It's okay. You're all right. We're not holding anything against you. It's okay.
I don't need your forgiveness.
You're a fucking psycho. And you should be on every red flag list, and you should have to register as a sex offender when you say, I want 12-year-olds, my kids, to see an asshole and a butt plug. No, you need psychological help. We're showing my children Game of Thrones right now. My daughter's 16 years old. She's intellectually has been a 25-year-old for years now. We had an extremely long conversation about what we would do in order to show them the amazing story, but also know that there's pornographic material inside that show that we don't want them to consume. And as a family, we sat down and had a conversation about it. And they said, well, we're uncomfortable when we see nudies with our parents. And I said, I was too. When I saw a pair of boobs, I thought I was going to die. When I saw Blue Lagoon with my parents for the first time, or 10 with Bo Derek and Dudley Moore. I wasn't okay with that shit. I didn't want to see that with my parents. So we agreed that when the scenes would come up, we would avert our eyes and they would listen to the scene if there was dialogue that was important. And if not a sexual scene, we would fast forward it and we would simply describe the parameters of the scene. Like in one of them, there's the second Prince of Dorne, and he's the Mandalorian guy, whatever his name is, can't remember, but he's bisexual. And well, that's kind of important to the story because there's other things that are tied to that. So we explained that to the kids, and that was it, and we skip it. That's how we can watch that show. At no time did I say, wow, I really want my children to see two gay guys having sex in the most uncomfortable way possible. This guy is sick.
But also, you're not protected.
It's okay. I still feel that way.
This is the counterculture that's alive and well in our country. And this has been going on for a long time. And I think us excusing it is no longer acceptable. These people are in charge of our school boards. These people are in CPS. These people are in positions of principality. These people are educators and union workers and part of the school unions. And this giant push to indoctrinate our children into sexual depravity, it's disgusting, and it must stop. But instead of CPS checking in on those kids, or a social worker checking on those kids, they're going to come after white Americans because we're terrorists. Because we question the indoctrination that's taking place. We question what they're learning. We question the curriculum. That guy, you keep that guy away from my kid. He shouldn't be allowed 1,000 yards in front of a school. Folks, we have $50 to hit. I don't think we're going to hit it. We hit 700. That's good. We're not going to be going into any more overtime. I've had a long week, and I'm going to go spend the time with my family. But I just have one more video to show you, and I'm going to go ahead and move on. Trying to figure out what I want to do. So it's very sickening, Kirsten. It's Courtney's daughter. Hi, Kirsten. If that weirdo ever approaches you, let me know. Kick him square in the cojones. And then knee him right in the nose. Weirdo. Free Jacket Friday. Last chance to get in, folks. 2 donations away from 2 bags of coffee along with the jacket. This is El Said. This is Michigan socialist douche nugget, where he says Mackinac, Michigan sucks. Now, the one thing I know about Mackinac is that it is quintessential America. Like, its time has stopped in Mackinac. I mean, white gazebos and beautiful streams and swans and Bostonian-style buildings, and it's beautiful. Mackinac is gorgeous, and if you listen to Said, he says that he hates this place. Here's the video.
Please watch your step.
I hate Mackinac so much. It's funny because, like, if we win, this is going to be the, like, summer home. I'm just gonna be like, every time I've ever come here, I've hated it. Why am I here?
So yeah, Michiganders, this is the guy who hates it, and he doesn't hate the beauty. He doesn't hate the time capsule snapshot of America. He hates the people. It's white. And he hates America, and he hates our country. And this is what he believes. And if you don't believe me, listen to his words. This was just uncovered by Laura Lomer, where El Said said that we may not hate all Muslims, but all Muslims hate us.
Listen, I was talking with Kamal Salim, who's endorsed me for my governorship. It's not racist. He was talking about it as a function of his religion. Well, it has nothing to do with religion. Just because he's got the keyword Muslim in it, that doesn't mean it's a Muslim organization. It means that they use that as a mask to go off and do things like he's doing right now, to go off and make it a victimhood. No, this is very serious stuff, guys. This is about civilization jihad. It needs to be up in the awareness. We should have an adult conversation, not simple name calling. I'm tired of the name calling.
Thank you. Dr. El Sayed, you want to use 30 seconds? And Shri, okay? And Shri, you can get your 30 seconds first. A lot of them.
So I grew up in this state. And you can imagine going to school with a name like mine, you get a fair share of bullying. The fact is that I just don't pay attention to bullies. It's not worth it. But here's the thing. One of the biggest frustrations that I've had is that the assumption that there should be some sort of association between me and some dastardly group functions simply on the fact that I choose to pray a particular way. It is implicitude that is used to raise the scepter that has everything to do with context. Now, here's the thing. What frustrates me more is not that you have blatant racism.
Maureen Davidson donated, better late than never. She's in with $25 in it to win it. Folks, that puts us at $25. We got to hit it. We're $25 away from 2 bags of coffee. Let's get in there. Make me do this. What is he a doctor of? Doctor of bullshit. I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
But what frustrates me more is, in the words of Martin Luther King, is that one of the most dangerous aspects is not when bad people speak out, it's when good people fail to speak out. And what I have not heard is the Republicans on this panel decisively and swiftly call out this kind of Islamophobia, this kind of racism in the context, right, that they are running to represent a state that has the highest per capita number of Muslim Americans in the country. Now, you might not hate racist Muslims, but I'll tell you, Muslims definitely hate you.
All right, Shri?
He is a doctor of epidemiology. Yeah. Didn't he lose? No, he won. He won by 1%, which should show that Rogers has a pretty strong chance of holding his seat. I don't expect him to win in the general election. I'm going to keep looking at it. I'll let you know if it differs. But winning by 1%, he doesn't have the headwind or the tailwind to win. But he does have a medical degree from Columbia, but he does have a residency. Deborah Plary donated $25. Great show tonight. In it to win it. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. You're amazing. $750. 2 bags of coffee go out the door. Thank you very much. The guy's a POS. He's a horrible human being. Folks, that's going to be it for tonight. We hit it. That's all that matters. Pre-show is pretty simple here. Congratulations. We didn't hit overtime, and we didn't hit our goal, but that's enough for me. We got it. $750. We'll get the jacket and the 2 bags of coffee out. We're check marking off. Tyler Fish is out. Damani is out. Hannah Pruder's next. She's going to be in-house. We're excited. Lisa Regina will be here August 17th. Ben Morgan from Tonto Vodka will be in the house. And Amber Hilliker from the Amber May Show will also be here. I want to say thank you, everybody. What a great week we had. It was an amazing week. We had a good time. It was a fun time. We did not hit overtime, but that doesn't matter. This is a great Jacket Friday. It was a huge Jacket Friday. We put the 1,000 on there because we want to incentivize 2 jackets, but this is great. This is a great night. We appreciate it, and we can't thank you guys enough. Please do me a favor. If you like the show and you're like, wow, we really like the show, simple. What you have to do is just come on over here on the pre-show box, and you can like, you subscribe, you follow, and you comment. If you do that, you will make sure that you can see the show at all times. And Facebook likes to hide it, folks. So if you comment every show before you come on and continue to participate in the show throughout the entire night, not only does it help the show get exposure, like tonight was one of our highest Facebook nights in a while. It's been so slow. But if you do that, it helps promote the show and it keeps the show fresh, especially in the first 2 minutes of the show. So when you see us on Monday, get in here, like and comment, share, subscribe, do all those things, and it will help the show go crazy. We'll see you guys on Monday. Olivia is off for the weekend, and so am I. I am out of here. I'm not doing anything. I might just do a video or two or something. But then again, I might get bored Saturday night. Maybe Ethan and I will come on. I don't know what will happen. But either way, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching us. And we'll see you guys later. Looks like we're going over in Rumble to Yankee Free. Tammy, thank you for all you do over there. Melanie always helps share too. Everybody who helps out the show, please do me a favor. Mel, I just saw you called. Did you want to call in real quick? Are you okay? I wanted to see if Mel's okay. I just literally saw, I looked up at the window and saw you called. I didn't hear it. I was in a conversation with Damani, or I was yapping. I'm sorry if I missed your call. But you can pop over to Yankee Free if you want to. Tammy, please do. And Mel, I can always get you after the show, or if you want to call in real quick, I can stay on. Just let me know what I'm doing. I think Mel's going to tell me to go, so go spend time with the family. You know what? I know that's what Mel's going to say. Yankee Free is over on Rumble. Hit us over there. Let's go, Tammy. Appreciate you. Looks like we're there, and folks, I'm going to say have a wonderful night. Let's make sure everybody in Washington is safe. Please check on each other. Please make sure that we're on the phone. Sherry, if you guys need anything, if there's anything I can do, I don't know what I can do, but let us know if there's any way we can help. God bless you all. Take care of each other. For our listener who's praying for grandma, we know who you are. We know you wanted to keep your name anonymous, and we'll say a prayer for you tonight. Good night, everybody. God bless.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.